How are you, Joe?
I'm doing well, Rich. I'm still trying to, gather what took place Saturday.
I
That
bet.
was wildly unexpected.
Let me tell you, Joe.
How are you, Rich?
I am doing well, man. It's been a long time since you and I spoke. When I saw that, I had to reach out to you and get you on here because the reaction is appropriate. The reaction that so many people had just seeing and hearing it in your voice, it was just amazing. Walk me through this. Joe, seeing your son out there and then watching him in a big moment of this game.
I mean, listen, it's so abnormal. It just is. Obviously, we've been really blessed that John became the athlete he became and worked very, very hard to be recruited and end up, earning a scholarship to play football at BC. What kind of married up in terms of his football life and my football life is I went off to do Monday Night Football, and I said, well, this is great. I can just watch John on Saturdays in between production meetings and whatnot. I never have to have that pressure of having to worry about, even BC at a time where they were maybe even being good enough to be playing on ABC against the number one team in the country, or that being my assignment. And don't you know, here I am now calling that game. So it put me in a spot. It happened about a month ago. They were playing on ABC against North Carolina, and I really had to pause and ask, how do I handle this assignment? And in that game, Coach Hafley sent him out in the shotgun down 2 on an extra point, potentially going for a conversion. So in that split second, I had to say, oh, my God, Rich, what do I say? What do I do? And it was, Tessitore in the shotgun. Oh, but thankfully he counted numbers. They waved them in. They kicked the extra point. He didn't put me in that spot. And then this weekend, here we are, and it's at Clemson. It's the best team in the country. And all of a sudden, BC's got things going, and now they've got some momentum. And he comes out, and he's going to be the holder for the extra point, and he pulls that thing off. So it was – I think what hit us the most is the reaction, because it was genuine, it was authentic, and having gone through the experience of him being in the shotgun against North Carolina, I knew, just say Tessitore, just play it straight, just try to control yourself, just sit there and call the game the way you normally would. But now you can breathe and you can reflect and you realize what happened.
And you having way before you called a game for ESPN. You know about sportscasting. You've done many highlights in your day as well. You know that sometimes something great happens and the highlight isn't that significant when it is in retrospect, because it doesn't lead to a point, it doesn't lead to something. But your son's play led to something significant just later on, which made it even that much more special of a play. Forget about the father-son relationship.
Right.
That had to be pretty cool for you to call that as well, that it led to a pretty nifty touchdown for Boston College as well, just mere moments later.
Yeah, that was cool, because it was definitely the high water mark of the game in terms of, holy cow, the number one team in the country is down 18. He pulls that off. It was an amazing momentum surge. And on the very next play, they got him on their heels. The heads are spinning, and they pull off a C.J. Lewis, who's another local Connecticut kid. C.J. grew up 5 minutes away from John. They grew up playing youth sports and scrimmaging against each other.
How cool is that?
Makes this amazing catch. And they're up 18, which I believe our graphics people put in as the largest home deficit a number one team in the country has had since 1950. So it was definitely that moment, the oh, wow moment. But, Rich, really, John and I spoke last night, and I don't know if it's just because what's been going on in our news cycles as a country of what we end up consuming in big-time live events, but it doesn't feel like there's been much in 2020 where things are universally accepted, and that communal feeling that sports gives you of watching things on TV where the whole country says, that was good. I feel good about that. Something touched me. But Saturday, that definitely happened with people. And if we played just a small role in that of seeing that love and pride between the father and son, then that makes us really happy.
You did. Joe Tessitore here on the Rich Eisen Show. You definitely did play a role in all that. So hang on a second. So you knew C.J. Lewis, like, from youth as well? You knew the kid who caught the touchdown?
Now, strangely, the 3 nearly consecutive big plays that BC had to get up by 18, the Brandon Sebastian 97-yard fumble return. Brandon's from West Haven, Connecticut, played at John's rival high school, Cheshire Academy. He's a good friend of the family. They have a lot of friends in common. Youth basketball, youth football, all the kids playing against each other growing up. CJ's from Hamden, the next town over from us in Wallingford. He's known CJ for years. And then obviously James from Wallingford and went to Choate. They played against each other in high school. They played each other in youth basketball. So the boys have known each other forever, and now they're college teammates, and they had those 3 consecutive big plays to go up on Clemson.
So this is the easiest board you've ever had, maybe in front of you, calling a game, right? You know, you don't have to match up numbers.
I threw my spotter out of the booth, Rich. I said, I don't need you.
You threw your spotter out of the booth because I grew up with these kids. They trick-or-treated at my house, for crying out loud. That is so cool. And again, the moment, let's just spend another couple minutes on this part of our conversation, if you don't mind. When you saw your son after the game, can you share a little bit of that conversation? I know that we saw that photograph of you masked up.
Well, John is super alpha. John's super alpha and wired a certain way, so he was still hot like a hornet coming out of the locker room. And we were 1 play away. We couldn't upset the number 1 team. And so you had to let that simmer down for a little bit.
Sure.
And then I said, are you aware right now that what happened on the field is going mega viral, that there are ESPN push notifications and every website in the world is just touched by what happened? And he's like, no, I didn't realize that. So by the time they got to the BC plane and he was with his phone for about 25 minutes, he texted me and just said, wow. But, listen, at that level, it's all about winning or losing for them. It's tough for them to, sit back and think like an individual of what happened. But last night, we had a long talk, and he realized how special it was.
Yeah, and the photograph that we're showing right here is the photograph that was tweeted out. I think the body language actually speaks to what you're saying about wired differently. There you are in that perfectly manicured or perfectly tailored jacket, pointing at him, hand in pocket, and he's got a fist. He's got a fist balled up like he's in a UFC fight card right there. Yeah. It's like as you're weighing in. Yeah. That's what it looks like right there.
Yes. That's the intensity, the beaming pride and emotion of the 49-year-old dad.
Yes.
And the unbridled intensity of the junior in college who just wants to beat Clemson's ass. Yes.
Hey, you watched all the way to the end. Thanks for that. Watch more right here.